here for the defendant judge. Also, I have a co-counsel, John Godoy, on the line as well.
Who?
John Godoy from my office.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. So you guys know that we're going to be at the Crowley Courthouse tomorrow. We're going to be we're going to be picking the jury in the cafeteria, at least as far as I know. If we're not in the for some reason you get there and there's no one in the cafeteria, go to the central jury room. But the last thing I heard is that we're going to be in the cafeteria. Our current plan is to go ahead and do jury selection. And I kind of wanted to ask you guys, do you want to how long do you think this case will take to try?
I think less than a day.
Because
I would concur, Judge.
Because I think we have dueling affidavits and 2 witnesses, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Well,
so
3. Let me correct that. We have the video depot of a doctor. So 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that answers the question I was going to ask you. So what I anticipate we'll do is we'll pick the jury, maybe do statements, and then possibly I want to try to work it out so that we have lunch here at this George Allen Courthouse. So we'll go until roughly 11:30, 11:45, somewhere around then, and then we'll come over to the George Allen. We will, if you weren't playing the video, then I was going to suggest we might be able to do the whole trial over there, but I'm not going to try to do a video deposition in the cafeteria. So we'll come back here to do the remainder of the trial. I do have, unfortunately, kind of a hard stop tomorrow at 5, or maybe 5:05. So just if the jury deliberates a long time, we may have to come back on Wednesday, but we'll just kind of talk about that. Any questions about any of that?
No, sir.
So, Judge, just so I'm clear, what time do we start voir dire tomorrow?
So what I've been told is the way this works is and it's a little unclear to me, but this is how it's been explained to me, is that they summon a bunch of jurors. They put some of the jurors in the cafeteria, some of the jurors in the central jury room. Then they have a judge go down and qualify the jurors to make sure there's nobody who's not supposed to be there. And after the jurors are qualified, then they create the panels, which is different than they do at the George Allen. They start that process at 8:30. I would suggest we just get there at 9 in hopes that we'll have panels, but we could take, I don't know how long before we actually get an official panel. But I would suggest we just get to the cafeteria. There's a case that's going to take place a felony case I've been told is going to trial in the central jury room, or doing jury selection central jury room. If that case goes away, then we're going to be in the central jury room. We're kind of the backup case. And so, does that make sense?
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, and just so I'm clear, so we will conduct voir dire. This is the criminal courthouse, a few blocks away, correct?
Correct.
And once we have picked our jury, will we start the trial still there in the cafeteria, or I'm just a little bit unclear on that?
What my thought is that we'll start the trial, and then I want to be able to so I don't know how long all this is going to take. I want to kind of leave there roughly 11:30 and then come here so that the jurors can eat lunch with us at the George Allen. So if it takes us an hour to do voir dire, then we'll do a good bit of a trial there. If it takes us 2.5 hours, then we'll just do voir dire. But my thought is we'll leave roughly 11:30 to come back over here. So that'll just, we have to do at least part of the trial here because I don't think we can play a videotape there. And there won't be any type of AV equipment. So does that make sense?
I'm glad you clarified, because we're not using the cafeteria at George Allen, but it's at the other building.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, we're doing the cafeteria at Crowley. I may have misspoken. We're
Oh, you
doing the
did-
cafeteria
Yeah, but okay,
at Crowley.
got it.
There is no jury selection at the George Allen next week. We are starting it hopefully the week after. That's what the email I literally just got. So, but next week will be at Crowley.
Okay.
Any other questions about that?
I think
So
that's
either it
clarified.
will be at the cafeteria or in the central jury room.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about, you guys I know have conferred on all your motions and limines. Does the defendant have any objection to the plaintiff's motion and limine? Mr.
Sorry,
Speaker,
Judge, my audio cut out. What did you just ask, Judge? I'm sorry.
did the defendants have any objections to the plaintiff's motion and limine?
There was only one clarification that I had emailed Robert about, and it was their number. It should be a routine thing, Judge, but on their number 11, pull it up real quick. Just the way they worded it, I was just making sure I didn't cross any lines, but they basically it's regarding commenting on the damages sought are fraudulent, will make plaintiff and her counsel rich, will bankrupt defendant, or blatant attempts to use biased sympathy and the opinion of counsel are excessive and attempt to win a lottery lawsuit and so forth. And I just told Robert I would like to still track what the jury charge I expect will say and say they can only award what is reasonably and fairly compensate. So, no windfall sort of damages would be appropriate, but something along those lines that tracks the jury.
Yeah,
charge.
there's no problem with that, but like jackpot justice or whatever you want to call it, or lottery, this isn't a lottery. They're just
no inflammatory language. That's fair. Judge.
Nothing inflammatory. Okay.
Otherwise, I have no objections.
Did the plaintiffs have any objections to the defendant's motion?
I don't know if Rob jumped on. I asked him to look at that. I haven't personally looked at it, but I don't believe so.
Okay.
And Judge, he did email me to say that the only issues they had involve our proposed jury charge that we can address in a minute, but I don't think he mentioned any in limine issues that he had.
All right.
No.
So all of the plaintiffs and defendants with the one clarification are granted. Let's go ahead and pre-admit exhibits. What exhibits are the plaintiffs offering? What exhibit numbers are the plaintiffs offering at this point?
Your Honor, I don't have the numbers in front of me. They're only a few. I think principally they're the medical records and medical bills. Rob has the actual exhibits and the numbers. So I thought he was going to be on this call, but apparently he's not.
Mr. Spear, do you know have you guys discussed the exhibits?
No, Your Honor, we had not yet discussed the exact exhibits. I don't think we really had any major issues, but I was going to just make sure I didn't miss anything with Rob on the line, but I don't want to speak for their office, obviously, Judge.
I think the only exhibits that there were medical records, medical bills, and some photographs of the vehicle.
Okay.
And sorry.
Well, it's up to, if you want to, this is the issue I have, is that if you want to use the exhibits during voir dire, I have to pre-admit them, and I'm not going to have time to do any pretrial tomorrow. That's my concern. So if you don't care about using them while we're at Crowley, that's okay. But there won't be any time. We're going to go straight into voir dire tomorrow. So I'm not sure what else to say other than that. But so I guess that's all we have.
I won't need to use any exhibits during the voir dire.
How long do each of you want for voir dire?
30 minutes.
Spear?
At least 30 minutes. I know after 30, the jury kind of gets lost on us anyway, but I'll defer to you, Judge. I like at least 30. With a 20 person, we can probably do it a little bit faster. Or is it about 20 people you think, Judge, will be on the panel?
I've asked for 24, so
Okay, 24.
But I don't know if we may get 24, we may get 64. I don't really know. So
Yeah.
This is totally out of our control. So great.
Well, actually, Judge, could I ask for 45, or that'd be a little bit too much?
Now let's just do 30. I think 30 is plenty for this. All right. Anything else we need to chat about?
Nothing right now, Judge.
Judge, the only thing to think about, you don't have to make a
They're here
decision,
for a swearing in.
but he has two issues that he's requested. We have a problem, but one deals with the contributory.
Just, I'm sorry, 1 second. They're here to be sworn in, so I'll get to them. I'll get to you guys in a second. What were you going to say, Mr. Townend?
Okay, he has two issues in his charge we have a problem with. The first deals with the contributory negligence of the plaintiff. The defendant testified basically the plaintiff had stopped in her lane in the far right lane, and then she was in the center lane and she changed lanes and she went over and just rear-ended her. There's simply no evidence at all of any negligence or fault on the part of the plaintiff. She stopped in her lane behind a vehicle. And so we have a problem with their submitting a contributory negligence issue. The other issue is he's asked for an instruction on unavoidable accident. And I think as the court knows, that typically might apply if, let's say, there was some unforeseen mechanical failure or a weather event, the tree falls down in the center of the road or something like that. But there's no facts.
Mr. Townend, I usually don't deal with these issues until closer to, we'll deal with those right after lunch tomorrow. How about that?
That's fine.
Okay, guys, great to see you. We'll see you tomorrow morning at Crowley. And if I were you, I would each of you should call Rhonda and give them your cell phone number because she's going to, we may need it in case something changes in the morning. So if you can just call Rhonda, give her your cell phone number, that would be great.
Okay.
All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Mr. Saeed, Mr. Jones.
Hey, Judge.
We will, before you leave, just 1 second. You guys have not agreed to a 6-person jury. Is that correct, Mr. Jones?
That's correct, Judge.
All right. Do you all want to do anything at this point in terms of pretrial, or do you, I guess the only issue I really need to deal with for y'all's case is just in case you go, we should probably do motions and limines. Are there any motion and limine issues?
I think it's all so easy, Judge. You can probably knock it out in a few minutes once we know we're actually going to go.
So we'll just wait.
I would prefer that.
Okay, we'll wait. When do y'all want to be reset?
At the court's convenience, Your Honor, whenever you can reset us and call us down at your convenience.
It's a pretty old case, so it's up to y'all. I'll set you whenever you want.
Your Honor, as long as it's not the last couple of weeks in December or the last week of November, I'm open. So the next available date, that's convenient to the court.
Yes, Your Honor, that's perfect. This case was filed in 2018, early 2018, so it's probably one of the oldest. And we'll knock it out in about a day. I don't think it'll spill into a second day, only for deliberations, I would say.
Okay.
So it should be a pretty quick one.
Pick a date, or I'll pick one.
Okay.
Yeah, you pick one, Judge.
I'll look at my calendar right now, Judge. Give me like another 20 seconds.
I was gonna let go off of Rhonda's schedule because that's the master schedule right there. Just
That's true.
Let her pick one and she'll pick the right one, in my opinion. But if Mr. Jones wants to give us dates, that's fine too.
Can we, let's see here. Judge, does it matter if it's this year or early next year, or is the court
It's
wanting
up
us?
to you guys, whatever you guys agree to.
I would prefer sooner rather than later.
All right. Let's see. Can we
could
put
do
it
next-
on?
I could theoretically do next week, the 18th, if you wanted to, now that we're doing jury trials again.
And you think by next week, Your Honor, the 18th we'll have a jury, or should we wait until the 19th or 20th? What do you think?
Well,
The way this is going to work, as I perceive it, is we're going to pick a week, and Judge Moore will tell us what day we get a jury.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I can't pick dates. I don't have that kind of control.
Yes, Your Honor. We are free next week. I can try it next week if.
I'm set number one in Judge Wilkinson's court in Tarrant County next week on a case on the 18th.
I think we have a special setting the week after.